Streaming, recording. Where to start? So I want to make some more progress on happy groups. It's kind of the mindset I'm in right now. I remember the last thing. First, as soon as I start talking. Up over here. Lay down. Every day. So we have login. Let's see. I don't even think the server's running right now. So dev. Why didn't that work? Worked. So I'm gonna have to get back into this because I have not been thinking about any of this stuff for a couple weeks now, something like that, and I've already forgotten a lot of it. We'll get back in fast. Give me app happy groups. Yeah. Sure. Oh, I think you have to do this now because we're on Moon version 2. Gotta build everything. So I have some tasks from the last time I was working. Alerting. I think we have some metrics on caching and stuff like that, but I don't think we've really done significant alerting on logins and stuff. I don't think we have any alerts. Metrics, alert groups. We don't have any alerts for happy groups right now. It's fully on. This worked. Login. So another thing that was one of the tasks on here to do was testing the login and stuff, but a sort of separate thing is I need to make the home page, probably the login page, and then move this over to like a demo page. So this is the thing I had kind of planned out a bit. I don't know. Might have lost some of those plans. I think I probably did. Well, because I had a bunch of sessions I was trying to keep track of, where I had kind of planned what the best way is to do the demo pages. Because do we duplicate all the routes for the demo pages? How do we actually pull the data in here for these? Because they'll obviously be different than if you're like using your own local data. So yeah, I'm not too sure how to handle that. What do we want to do first? I gotta get login working. I gotta get this so that you can actually use it. I was thinking too that I was thinking again about this idea that I had kind of thought about last time, or the last times I was working on this, which is, do I do history up front? Basically, I was considering, do I want to do a mobile app? I don't particularly want to do a mobile app right now, which means you have to be able to log in on web without ever downloading an app. This kind of necessitates that the server keeps the encrypted history, the encrypted grouped history, because like if you have the person download an app first, then they can, you know, look at scan a QR code to basically link a browser, like a browser session, to their phone, and then they can sync the history from their phone to the browser session. And so if you do support for browser-only login, that means all the history is in that browser, and it's not easy to share that with another device. I guess you could have the phone scan the QR code, but if you wanted to log into another browser somewhere else, let's say you had never downloaded an app on your phone, you wouldn't have any easy way to transfer the history without the server having the history itself. So I kind of consider that unacceptable, but then I was thinking about, again, like, you know, am I okay with not having an app? Because when I talk to people about this, like, I think there are people that would be interested in this thing existing. And for the most part, I think they'd want an app. So I think there's like this weird thing where, you know, I don't really want to download apps. I know there's like a lot of app fatigue. So that's kind of why I'd like to do a website only thing. But at the same time, if you like the thing, you want to download an app for it. My feeling was just that an app opens up the scope a ton. And I can probably just, you know, give people instructions on how to download it as a web view, to create a link on their, create an icon on their home screen to open up the website. And then my feeling was, is like, if I do web and people like it and they're using it a little bit, then I can commit to doing mobile apps and I can try and do it well. But I don't really want to commit to having mobile apps and a web interface at the same time while trying to do all this end-to-end encryption without knowing people are going to use it. If I know people are going to use it, then sure, I'll go do well. But that's the thing, right? Is like, you know, if in the case that people use it, you're going to want to do a mobile thing, then maybe you do want to not have the history on the server. I kind of feel like, though, that users expect to just be able to log in from anywhere. And that the kind of hoops that apps like Signal or WhatsApp make people jump through are kind of big. So yeah. The thing I was thinking about with the history on the server was, let's say, so there's two different things you have to deal with. One is, let's say you get subpoenaed for information. You don't have the information, right? It's all encrypted. So you probably won't get subpoenaed that much. Like, there's two different issues, right? One is like the freedom of people to do stuff without the government interfering with them. But the other aspect too is a practical aspect, which is, you know, if you're a small company and you're constantly having to answer subpoenas, it's not ideal. And so you essentially have to set up like all these companies have, which is just an infrastructure to answer subpoenas. Or the NSA basically demands that you work with them, that you have to work with them. So that's one practical aspect of the encryption. But one thing I could imagine too is, you know, they can say, hey, there's some illegal content uploaded to your servers. It's in these encrypted blobs. You must delete those encrypted blobs. And like, you couldn't verify what they're saying. But they could still try to make you delete stuff from the server. In which case, if that were to start to happen, you would want to have a way to use happy groups without having server stored on the history. So maybe you support both one day, I don't know. But my feeling is like, for the general use case, storing encrypted history on the server is good enough. Trade-offs. One thing that's kind of annoying too is I have like no one to talk to these trade-offs. No one I know knows anything about this stuff. It's funny for my interviews too. Like, if I talk about any of this, it's just kind of, you know, goes over their head. All right, let's make some progress. How are we gonna make progress? Stop just clicking around. I don't want to do this yet. I was thinking about this, right, which is, should we have some... God damn it. Why am I always yawning when I'm on stream? When I'm talking, maybe? So right now our unit tests spin up SQLite, and they use a just local caching, I think, for the unit tests. And so I was thinking, you know, should we have some kind of like real full integration test that have an actual bytest val key ever set up? I think this would be good to set up at some point, but I think it's quite a bit of work. So I think where I was is I need to refactor the history design docs. Let's see. Nice. This might help us. Yes, this will help us. Encode. NN. This is where we were. Must have now per group history vaults plus account log. Yeah, I think I reviewed this and I was like, okay, I think this is correct. And I wanted to sleep on that for a day or two. Now I gotta evaluate again. Definitely not gonna do the light recognition. We may leave out some initial features, but we'll build out there. Build the full group history vault architecture now. Allow a feature-thin launch surface on top of that. No migration pane from light to real. Forward. Let's move forward. The alerting. So for this, I think I pasted this in the wrong. Proposed require auth layout wrapper. Demo dual namespace. I'll need to work under both prefixes. GraphQL queries assume an authentic user. So this is the thing with this, is that we have these routes and we want this all to be demo stuff. But so this stuff is all rendered using mock data. So this stuff's all rendered using mock data. And so how do you share the UI when some of it needs GraphQL and some of it needs mock data? Gestures means capability levels per session device, not this is my only real account key forever. Think of it as standard, can read, send messages, normal usage. High trust, can do dangerous act. Pick your spot, Miss Webb. Spot. Okay. I know. I know. To avoid that failure mode would require at least one recovery path that can just so yeah. I'm just thinking about the number of things I gotta verify work right. Okay, 1 foot in front. Good. Here's the key distinction. It can function as a progressive web app, but with caveats. When you add a site to your iOS home screen, Safari treats it differently depending on whether the site has a web app manifest in it. Site is a proper progressive web app. Adding to the home screen can give you access to quite a bit. Service workers for offline caching, cache API, index DB for structured storage. You essentially get a glorified bookmark. It opens in a Safari tab, and storage is subject to Safari's aggressive 7-day eviction policy under intelligent encryption. Meaning if you don't visit the site for 7 days, Safari can purge its. Surprised they tried to remove progressive web app support too. I'm building in e2ee. On-screen progressive web apps get significantly better storage than the Safari tabs. Yeah. I think this is fine. On each app open, try to read. If it's there, great. And I'll see if there's an error. So if I do the progressive web app first, it kind of forces me to deal with this case where a user logs in and you don't want them to be sitting there waiting for their whole history to sync, which I think is a good thing. Like even if I do native apps, it would be really nice to kind of do that incremental touching of their history. So I think I'll just focus on building it as a progressive web app. We'll probably... Make sure... How you doing, Miss Web? It's weird because I know like no company would even bother even attempting to do this stuff. So then it's just kind of a matter of like, you know, if I'm building it for myself, what do I want? Do I want this feature? Very difficult to add later. It's... We're doing this because
英文课。英文课。英文课。
class 英文课
大学生。
学生
大学生。
大学生学生
大学生老师，大学生老师。
我喜欢英文。
我喜欢
喜欢。我喜欢英文。喜欢。
喜欢欢
我喜欢英文。
啊
喜欢。
欢
我喜欢英文。
我喜欢英文。
喜欢。
I like English. 欢
中文课，中文课，中文课。
欢
喜欢。你喜欢中文，对不对？
你喜欢中文
对。
对不对？对，我喜欢中文。
美国。
我对不对？
对不对？
对不对？对不对 ？Like 喜欢
喜欢。
医生
医生。
医生我
你喜欢英文，对不对？你
喜
欢
喜欢英文？对，我喜欢英文。
课。
课中文
中文。
中国
中国。
中国
课。
我
我
英文
大学生。
大学生大学生 right
对。
我学生
喜欢
喜欢英文课
英文课。
课 对对，我是学生
大学生。你是大
的
学生。
学生，对
对
不对？
对，
对不对？叮，嗯。What's a headache to think about? Mainly the primary device is sole commit authority. Less high trust session listener. The non-lockout recovery. It's so much more fun to just do this without encryption, because you would make so much progress so much faster. We will not tolerate encryption. Can't focus. No fucking way I do mobile first. Do mobile first. Let's try it. such an impossible decision. That's the thing, is like, shit's so fucking hard, and then I just want to go procrastinate and do something else, like exercise. I must. And like, there's some things the LLMs make so much easier because I can just kind of get them to get me going. But this type of thing, they help, but it's like I have more to read, more to think about. Like, they just make me confront the issues faster. I actually almost feel in the past it would have been easier to make it one decision or the other, because I wouldn't actually have to confront all the issues. Now I actually have to think about all the issues and be like, oh, this isn't right, that is right. The difference is real but narrow than it looks. Complexity costs us whatever, but more. App sandbox, your keys are isolated from other code, and a browser malicious extension index to be. Yeah, the thing was I wanted to build web first, because I built this login and register on web. And I built the login and register on web. And then I realized that it's not even useful on web. You saw it easily in the back end and stuff, but like, this was going to be nice for testing. It's saying a malicious extension can read index DB. But that would be true regardless. But yeah, it could intercept web crypto calls. So it could actually see what your password is. Extensions could see what your password is in your browser. WebAuth isn't. The phone's primary wasn't just a security boundary, it was an enormous complex. Single commit authority, one device issues all. Not sure I understand. I thought device. Subtlety is about a difference between proposals and commits. Any member can propose changes. The commit is what actually advances the group to a new epic. It bundles one or more proposals and applies them atomically. Only one commit can be valid per epic. If two devices both try to commit against the same epic simultaneously, one wins and the other's commit is. Every device still manages its own leaf keys, but you designate one device as the only one that actually issues commits. How does this work in groups, though? Falling. Your group say 8 members, you already have 8 potential players. It's saying primary decides what to share. So if you link a device, could you give it only access to certain groups? You could give it only history to certain groups. If it's a linked device, it wouldn't be able to download the history. And so only the primary device could download the history. Which device, which group? Devices good, I think. Because you can only sync the keys that are relevant. Yeah, now I remember the other thing I was thinking about is that I was thinking of this a little bit more like how Bitwarden or Proton, like Proton Mail works. And those you just enter a password from any device, but those wouldn't have any sort of idea of what's it called? Trust levels or whatever. So yeah, like when you log into Bitwarden or I think another idea is that I was thinking yeah, Bitwarden or chill out. No device hierarchy, no trust tiers, no primary link description. You log in from a new browser and you have everything. That's a much simpler model and it might be the one I want to hear. The trust idea was compensating for the loss of phone as primary security battery. We're already accepting the Bitwarden Proton Mail threat model. Password is the root of trust, not a device. The tiers are unnecessary complexity. Log in with a phone number plus password from any client. Drive account symmetric key. What you lose versus trust tiers. The ability to say this session is less trusted and convenient. But do you actually need that? Bitwarden doesn't. If someone has your password, they have everything. And you protect against that with password strength plus 2 factors, not with device level of capability. The main thing this changes architecturally, the current linked devices never have password. I think I might have to do this, even though, like, it'd be nice to have more sophistication on, like, you know, you could link a device with only access to some groups or something. I think this is me. You know, get rid of trust tiers. If someone has your password, they have everything. You protect against that with password. Main thing this changes architecturally, the current linked devices never have password rule goes away. Every session is. It simplifies the multi-device model dramatically. No QR linking flow, no device management UI on a primary device, no history sharing decisions. You log in, you have your stuff. Okay, this is the either I go the Signal and WhatsApp model. I have to build out the web app, build out the native app first, or I go the and then maybe I don't have to do history initially if I do all this stuff. But I would still pretty much do history, so I could test everything. Or the other path is that all sessions are flat. It's much simpler to reason about. I think both for the user and for the builder. Give you a bathroom spell. Give you a... help you. And he's sniffing around. Give me a toy pup. Bring it. Bring it to me. Toy pup. 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 Okay, think about it. But that's the path. This is the decision point.
数学课，
数学课。数学。
数学课，
class.
数学课，
他说中文，
He speaks Chinese.
他喜欢英文课，对不对？他喜欢英文课，对不对？他喜欢英文课，对不对？他是。他喜欢英文课，对不对？
喜欢。
喜欢。
喜欢。他是喜欢英文
对不对？
他适合英文课。What is this word?
喜欢。
Teaches? He teaches English class, right? Fuck. Fuck.
我上数学课，
Arts. 上
上上
下
上
下
上，
下
我上数学课，
我上上上
我上数学课，上
我上
我上数学课，
math class. I go to math
数
class.
学课，我上数学课，
我上数学课。
我上数学课，
数学
我上数学课，
他是学生。他是学生。说。学生。他是学生。他是学生。是学生。
上
上上 You
喜欢。
like
喜
喜欢喜欢 You like
英文课。
他上中文课，对不对？
他
上
上他上中文课
课
对不对？对。What is this? 他对他啥英文课中文课 You 你
你
他
他
律
律
师
师。
学生
学生。
医生
他喜欢数学课，对不对？
他
喜欢，
喜欢
喜欢，
喜欢
他
他喜欢
数学课，
数学课
数学课，
OK， 对，他喜欢
数学课，
数学课。数学
数学
数学喜欢
喜欢
喜欢数学
数学，
数学说
说
对
对
fuck
对，
oh I lost another heart
他上英文课，对不对？上
他上英文课对不对？他上英文课
他，中文和数学，
中文和数学 Chinese and math
他喜欢英文课，对不对？
他喜欢英
英
文课
文课，
对不对？
对不对？
Okay, no more hearts.
Get more with Super.
It's the max rank. $10,000? What am I at? 1,000. We did Duolingo like 10 weeks ago. Conclusion of Diamond League, it marks the end of a streak I set for myself. Being ranked number 1 on the leaderboards in each league at least once. Without intending to boast, I never encountered numbers like these. 60,000 in a week. Getting 63,000 took 12 hours in a week. What am I gonna do? I think this is the decision point, and I want to take a break. So I might end this stream here, and I might come back later and do this. I think I want to go exercise, think, and then come back to this. It's a huge question. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna call it here for now. I might be back on later. Thanks for watching.